Hey everybody, it's Pat Largo with Comedians Uncorked, another edition of the Comedians Uncorked Uncut. They seem to be going fairly well, and I put all these on YouTube, my YouTube channel, and also comediansuncorked.com. We have another great one today with a friend of mine. I'm happy to call her my friend, a funny comedian, actor, actress, just entertainment specialist. Aniria Turney is with us. Thanks so much for coming out today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And by the way, is it because sometimes we get confused? I know it's Aniria or Aniria's funny or Aniria Turney, but that's also Aniria Turney. Is it Madrano?
Madrano. Yeah, my legal name is Aniria Madrano Turney, but on stage it's just too long, so it's Aniria Turney for flyers, or even just Aniria on some flyers.
And I like that with the one word thing. It's kind of hip nowadays, and it just gets right to the point. So I always like to start out with all the craziness going on in this stupid 2020 year, which kind of started promising. Then it went to hell in a handbasket. How are you and your family doing?
We're doing good. We're surviving. Fortunately, my husband has been able to work from home. Actually, he was working from home even before the pandemic. So the transition just kind of was seamless. And, he's been working. And my daughter was a senior in high school, which was kind of, a bum thing for her, but she got through it. She just started HCC this week, or no, not this week, a few weeks ago. And she's working from home, so we're all good.
I like it. Now, when you go to the stores, how many people have you bitch slapped when they walk down the wrong aisle?
I've wanted to, man. I have wanted to so bad, but I haven't.
I was like that at first, like before they mandated stuff, like the masks, before when it was like optional. I noticed that people wearing masks wouldn't look at the arrows; they just walk wherever.
Yes.
And I wasn't wearing a mask, but I minded where I was going. But I did. Now, after I have conformed and I've been wearing these silly masks, now I'm like, if you're wearing a mask and I'm wearing a mask, I don't care if we're going the same direction. Let's just get in. Let's just get the hell out of here. And let's just, so nobody gets shot. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. One of the things that has annoyed me about this pandemic when it comes to going to the store is I don't mind so much, the whole direction like you, as long as everybody's wearing masks. But the thing that really bugs me or was bugging me was people who didn't wear a mask and would stand in line to pay, and they were like right behind you, almost ready to hump you. And you're like, we're in a freaking pandemic.
It's true.
Like, get off of me already. And then you scoot forward and they scoot forward. I'm like, oh my God.
They didn't have any courtesy about that, right?
Mm-mm.
It's like I'm in line at Walgreens. I'm like, listen, I'm just buying some Astro Glide so I can get home and enjoy Pornhub. Just give me at least a 5-foot rule, for God's sake. Just give me some time. No, you're right. Like, they don't, and you give them the look. And usually it's white people, and I'm white, so I have no problem telling the white devil to back off, because it's true though. You scoot up 2 inches, they scoot up right behind you. And a couple of times I had to give the old throat clear, which usually does good, because then they think you have COVID, and they'll move back 10 feet, which is awesome. So, so listen, real quick, congratulations. I know recently you were doing a gig. I guess it was like a Zoom or some type of a gig with Dat Phan, the winner of Last Comic Standing, and a bunch of other great comics from around the country, correct?
Yes. I'm so grateful for that gig. I've been doing it almost every week.
Oh, wow.
And Dat Phan, somehow or another, we found each other on Facebook. He reached out to me, and I was really scared to do Zoom shows because, as a comedian, it is not the best environment. You lose so much with the interaction with your audience, the feedback, are things going well, are things not going well?
Right.
So because he's the one that asked me, I felt like, well, I'm not going to say no.
Sure.
So I did it, and it was very nerve-wracking, but because I've been doing it every week, I've gotten really comfortable with it. And it's a whole new dynamic, Pat, I'll be honest with you. You have to really, be more mindful of that you're in this little box, and you have to kind of show in your face and express what you're thinking.
Okay, so let me ask you then, is it because I've never even seen one. I think Chris Cope has done some of this and other fine folks. So is it kind of like radio? Because I'm from a radio background. So do you literally do your material or jokes and there's literally no reaction from anyone, or how does that work?
Well, I've actually done them both ways. So the ones I do with Dat Phan, there is an audience. It's usually mainly comedians, just like any other mic, right?
Right.
But he's now bringing in actual audience members, and I can see them, and most of them are unmuted, so you can hear their laughter. The only challenge is that there's a delay. So sometimes you think it's not going well, but it's because you kind of have to wait for the delay and then see if people are laughing. And that gets some time to get used to.
Oh, wow.
But I did do a benefit with Stephen Lawley where we couldn't see anybody and we couldn't hear anybody. It was just us looking at ourselves. And it was awkward because I had to do 20 minutes. So it was 20 minutes of talking, but then I'm like, okay, sometimes you get to the point like, okay, what if I pause for the laughter, but they're not laughing at home? So then it looks awkward because I had seen that on like Saturday Night Live sometimes and other shows. So then I thought, okay, I got to come up with something with the space. So then you have to kind of develop, what are you going to do? Are you going to laugh at your jokes? Are you going to make a face or what?
Wow, that really takes, because it's all about timing, right? Like, you got your timing and you pretty much know when you hit a punchline that they're probably going to laugh immediately or react immediately. But boy, that's going to be amazing or really have to psych yourself up to understand the game plan with that. That's crazy. So.
Yeah, it is. And then if you've been working on new material, it's a challenge because you're like, should I even do this? Because I don't know if they're going to like it.
Right.
So some of the shows that Dat Phan does, they're open mics. And so I'll take a chance to do the new material there.
Okay.
And see how the reaction is. And it's still it's different.
All right. And real quick, while we're on this subject, how can people see these shows or open mics? Like where do they go for this? Do you know?
On Zoom? Okay. Great question. The flyers will have a phone number that you can text.
Okay.
And shoot, I can find you as we talk. I can find you the phone number.
Yeah, you know why? Because I have a couple of things from your Facebook page for your upcoming shows, but I just thought about that, about finding either a new or an older Dat Phan flyer so we can show them. So if you happen to have one, it's fine. Otherwise, we can always try to find it a little later.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let me look. So basically, as I'm looking for it, I can tell you if you just there's a phone number to text, and if you tell them that you want to hold on, I think I found one. If you want to be part of the, be an audience member on the show and you're there to see Aniria, then he goes through some rules. He's got some questions. I shouldn't say rules that he asked.
Oh, Dat Phan making this official, Dat Phan, with his questions and his stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around. He's very professional and he's really trying to create. I'm sorry, I can't find. Oh, hold on. Okay. Just a second. 3.
We got it. No worries. 5, 6. But I just think it's awesome because I saw some comics I think from like LA or San Francisco. I want to say I mean it was just all different states represented. I'm seeing this more, like even some, like Florida comics doing it. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a little reticent to try stuff like that. I don't know. Plus, I've never been invited, so everybody can go fuck themselves.
And I think a lot of comics feel that way because I know I did. It's not the easiest thing to do if you've been watching any of the comedy shows that are doing Zoom. You can kind of see them struggling a little bit. But I think with time you get used to it, and I think that the audience members are getting used to shows like that.
That's cool. Like I said, it reminds me of radio, because in radio, you do bits or you're just talking to yourself basically, and you're forgetting that there's a lot of people out there listening to you. But yeah, like if you ever did a joke or a topical little thing, or I do like a little topical punchline from time to time, and I go right into a commercial break, and I didn't know. I hope people enjoyed it. But then you get some people calling, going, "Hey, man, that was really funny," or "Hey, what did you say about what?" And you go, "Oh, wow, okay." So I forget people are listening. So, but that's cool, man. But comedy, it's like I was just telling people, it's so simple. It's such a simple setup, but we just need a couple of main ingredients, namely a live audience.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be good though.
You know, but other than that. What's that?
I'm sorry. I was just going to say that because of your background in radio, I think you would be ahead of the game to someone else who was trying it for the first time.
Maybe. I mean, or if they need me to talk up a couple of Metallica records, I could do that too, you know, whatever they want me to do. Let me get real quick to this because you got a couple of these big boys coming to town here. Where is it? Here. Oh, that's my page. I want to do a new share. Here we go. Here we go. So this one here is coming up at Snappers. You're going to be with Tracy Cannon, is it Cannon or Cannon? I always forget.
Kanan.
God, I screwed that. Yeah. I'm sorry, Tracy. This is going to be Friday, September 11th, obviously a big day, and I hope people are going to be enjoying themselves that day. And, of course, Saturday the 12th. I know they're doing new stuff now. Instead of doing 2 shows per night, they're doing, I think, 1 show Friday, 1 show Saturday. But it's Snappers, though. It's a great place, isn't it?
I love it. Yeah. I always like the atmosphere there.
And have you ever worked with Tracy?
I have worked with Tracy quite a bit.
Okay.
We used to actually, back in the day, we used to do open mics together. And then a few years later, we worked again, which wasn't really that long ago.
What we doing?
And after that, we kind of found ourselves in the same shows, which was really nice because I love working with Tracy. Tracy, she's funny. She's a different act. She's a badass.
Yeah, I remember her during the Coconut days. And you're right, she is a badass. And I haven't seen her recently, so I would love to maybe, if I'm in town this weekend, which I think I am, I wouldn't mind popping in and seeing you guys. Plus, shout out to Stephen Henry. I know, just to see you guys would be great. Stephen Henry, great local podcaster and writer and comedian. He's going to be hosting the show. So shout out to Stephen. And then, so we got that one. So people can, I think, go on the Snappers Facebook page or call or contact Snappers in Palm Harbor, Florida for tickets to that. I'm sure it's going to sell out, both shows. And then let me get over to here, which is on that same one. Hang on, where is it? Here we go. And then you have another one coming up here. You're going to be at the Comedy Zone.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Now, real quick on this one, it doesn't say. Where are you going to be? The Comedy Zone? Where?
Oh, you're right. It doesn't say. I took it from the website and then put any information.
Yeah. Is this Jacksonville or where is this?
Vero Beach at the Riverside Theater.
At the what theater?
I'll add some more information onto it. I promise.
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, what theater again for the folks to know?
It's the Riverside Theater in Vero Beach.
Okay, and I know you're going to be working with the incredible Dean Napolitano, also a fellow actor.
Yes, actually, thanks to him, I got into acting. I would have never tried it until he talked to me about it.
Oh, for real? Is that because I had a question about that from Christina? She asked, "When did you know?" Well, it was a little more generic. She said, "When did you know you wanted to be in entertainment?" But we'll get to that question in a second. So real quick, give us the Dean anecdote. So you guys were doing comedy, and then he said, "Hey, you should be on camera."
Yeah, well, this is what I opened up for Dean, and I had never met him before. And it was a show in Tampa at a country club. And he said, I think you should really think about trying acting because you're very organic at the way you speak on stage. And
wow.
And I was like, wow, I don't know about all that, but sure, maybe. And thanks to him, he was insistent in helping me out. Like he pretty much showed me how to do a resume, and he told me about some of the agents in a acting class. And I put it off for a while, but then one day he called me from when he was on the road. I think it was from Vegas. And he's like, "So have you done anything yet?" And then I was like, okay, let me just do this.
Right, yeah.
I did. Because, when you do stand-up is scary enough, and it was new, and I had already started to kind of find my way around in stand-up. And then I was like, God, to start something new,
right?
I don't know. But I did it. I started going to class, and honestly, I didn't like it at first because it wasn't that I didn't like acting, but it was the pains of starting something new. And then I fell in love with it. I really did.
Do you recall your first booking?
My first booking was, and my first booking was a student film in Tallahassee, which is anybody who starts acting and wants to take it seriously and you don't have any footage, submit yourself for student films, especially at FSU, because they're very high quality and it gives you a chance to get a reel. And that was my first gig. I had a short role, but it got me on a set. I didn't know what a set looked like and how to work with cameras and a director and all that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's great, man. And then you've been doing well at that between what was that movie, Naked, on Netflix with one of the Wayans brothers?
Yes, that was my nerve-wracking assignment.
I mean, you've been doing a lot of stuff, but you're SAG-AFTRA. I mean, you're big time.
I'm trying. The thing about acting is that you audition a lot, and you don't get a lot. So yeah, I mean, I've kept auditioning. I don't know when my time's gonna come for something, again, that's big like that.
Right.
I mean, I've done a couple of big things, but you just keep grinding, keep your skills up to date, which is another thing I've been doing since the pandemic. My studio where I took classes shut down, but I've continued to study online with a teacher who's been doing virtual classes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been doing that. But yeah, I'm very grateful for the stuff I've gotten and even the auditions that I've done. I've come close. I came close to a film that's about to come out.
Oh, wow.
It was between me and two other ladies, and I didn't get it. The lady that had like a gazillion credits got it, which is understandable. That's part of the business. But
damn, you were right.
But, the experience it makes you better.
Yeah.
Because, I got as far as a callback. That means I had to drive to Atlanta, meet with the director, and audition in person again for the director. And that was a great, great experience. Good.
And was it a good audition? You felt good about it?
I felt good about it, but I didn't book it.
Right.
Yeah. I think it called for a much older woman. So when I walked in and I saw my competition, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And that's a shame in a way, right? That that they want older, and you're not anywhere near old. Driving to Atlanta for that, but it's just great though. But you're doing stuff, and it's more Tampa talent, man. That's what's so beautiful about it. And you kind of answered that what Christina said. She said, "When did you know you wanted to be in entertainment?" So an actual like a broad spectrum. So that was probably in college, I guess.
Actually, it was younger than that. I knew at age 14 that I wanted to do stand-up, but I didn't do it till I was 31 maybe, because what happened was that when I was 14, that's when comedy was coming onto TV, because comedy lived in the clubs. And then in the 80s, you started to get shows like VH1 Spotlight,
right,
or shows, and I was like, what is this? And I'm 14 years old watching this, and I'm mesmerized. And I'm like, I want to do that. Yeah. But, I grew up in a home where you got to go to college, you got to, the security thing. And I did it. And never thought about comedy. To me, it was like, I wouldn't even know where to start, but it was something I always wanted to do. And then when I had my son, I only had my son, I decided to try it after a conversation I had with a coworker who was asking, a roundtable discussion, oh, what would you have done, differently? And I mentioned that. And she said, well, why don't you just do it? And I thought, I'm 30 or whatever age I was. Yeah. That's too old. And then I thought about it, I said, forget it, fuck it, let's see what's going on. And so I found a workshop and met Pretty Paul Parsons, who became my mentor. Yeah. And did it for a few months, but then I got pregnant with my daughter. And at that time there was smoking in comedy clubs. Yeah. So I said, well, I can't do comedy now because I'm pregnant and that's more important. So I left comedy. I did it for maybe 3 months and then left it for 4 or 5 years and then came back.
And have you ever forgiven your husband or daughter for that?
I wouldn't have half of the material I have if it wasn't for her.
Oh my God. No, that's fun. That's good. That's what helps people out. They want to hear how people are getting their start. Let me see if I can go back real quick. Here we go. So one more time. This is in Vero Beach, right?
Yes, Vero Beach.
Okay.
And I will be posting details later.
Okay, good. So show time to 7. Oh, so it looks like you're doing. Ooh, is this 2 shows each night?
That's right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So folks, write this down too. Aniria is going to post it on her page, September 18th and 19th. Her, Dean Napolitano, Comedy Zone in Vero Beach. And also, let me see if I can share. Here it is. I believe this is your site, right?
Yes, I need to add that on there. I think I do have the shows on there.
Okay, cool. So, but you post on here and you post your whereabouts, your shows.
Yeah, if you go to gigs on the right hand side where you were at. No, see the little menu by your cursor there. It says clips. Go up. The one right above clips says gigs.
Oh, you know what? I gotta see if I can move. Oh, here it is. There we go. I had to move you with my Zoom thing.
Oh yeah, it's covering it up.
Oh, here we go. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So here's Aniria's stuff come up in September. Here's her Comedy Zone gigs, the Snappers gig. So we got that going on, and then the rest of the year, and hopefully we'll have a much better 2021. So
yeah, let's see.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, that is cool too, man. So and then so how can people then get a hold of you just to say hi or see what's going on with your career or catch you on social media? Where can people get a hold of you, Aniria?
Well, my favorite place is Instagram at Aniria is funny.
Okay.
Or you can reach me on Facebook at Aniria Turney. I think I have an account too that's just Aniria. I should say that. That's easier. Aniria. Twitter, I'm not on it as much. I need to. And my handle there is at Aniria Comedian.
Okay. On Twitter. Okay, cool. Oh, one last question. We've got Pat from Largo. He wants to know, when is K Funny with Aniria Turney, Tony God, and Pat Largo going to be on the road?
Well, I want to start working on. I can't wait for that. That is definitely something that we're gonna start doing before the pandemic, and it's going to be. I have to check to see what comedy clubs are open.
Yes.
Pat Largo, Tony God, and Marionette Torres, and myself. It's gonna be a bilingual extravaganza.
Woo!
That is so bilingual.
He's just coming out saying chinga chinga all night.
Chinga chinga.
But
yeah, that's to be announced. I need to work on that, Pat.
Okay, no, it's going to be good. And I saw a picture you had of that hat, which I love, that K Funny. And I know on your website it says you have a store there, right, for your stuff. So I would love to purchase one of those K Funny hats, because then when I get some more of my Comedians Uncorked merchandise hats, I'll get you a Comedians Uncorked hat. And
we can trade.
I want to do that. Right now I'm representing my boy Larry the Cable Guy, one of his old...
oh, nice. I like it.
The fishing hook right there in case I want to go catch a few bass later.
It's so Florida. I love it.
That's right. Always a shout out to Dan Whitney in Nebraska. Well, good. Aniria, listen, man, I know you're busy, and thanks for taking time out in the middle of the day here and answering Christine's question and Pat from Largo, But, and good luck on all your shows, and we always want to promote whatever you're doing. And that's, folks, real quick, that's what I do on Comedians Uncorked on Facebook. I like to promote all the local Florida talent, all the comedians, and comedians from around the country. That's what I like to do. So that's part of the stuff I put on Comedians Uncorked. So other than that, Aniria, thank you again so much. We'll talk with you soon. And folks, as I always like to say, thank you for being a part of the show, and laugh.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
Very good. And I want you to laugh because you deserve it. All right, we are.